So you're a hypnotherapist to start.
Yep.
So what problems do you solve? Let's go, sort of run right through the basics. What problems do you solve?
Okay, well, the quit smoking side of things, every hypnotherapist does that. And
do you do it?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start.
Well, one of the things that I offer is that people can come back and get a free session if it hasn't worked.
Yes, but actually there is something a little bit... Can I tell you about that offer? If something doesn't work, doing it again is not necessarily a guarantee.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right? So it's like saying, okay, it didn't work, so you can keep coming back until it works. It may never work, so you'll come back forever. Right? I mean, if it doesn't work, putting up with more of you is not necessarily where I want to be, right?
Right, fair enough.
So that actually, if you actually said, if it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back, that would be a guarantee. Now, it's a sidelight to the discussion, but it does go into the notion of what, the transparency of the business and what obstacles do you face as a hypnotherapist from the general public. Because you've got those who believe and those who do not.
Yeah, I mean, this the stage hypnosis thing. Almost the first thing I have to say to a client is, "No, you're not going to be doing the funky chicken," because
it's a shame.
That's what I think they're going to be doing.
But, yeah, I'm sure they do. So, stop smoking. What else do you solve? Problems do you solve?
One of my biggest sellers at the moment is the hypnotic gastric band.
I'm sorry.
Well, if
you tell,
okay.
You're becoming even more interesting.
Well, if somebody has a BMI of over 30.
They're really big.
They're 18 stone, 20 stone. The only game in town really is a proper gastric band, which will cost between 3 and 7 grand and is risky.
Okay, who here does not have any clue what he's talking about? Raise your hand. Okay, so everyone knows. That's impressive. Keep going. What do I know?
It's just if somebody,
I'm with you so far.
Somebody is clinically obese, then
a gastric band is the medically approved surgical intervention for reducing weight.
Yep.
So what's a hypnotic gastric band?
Well, it costs between 3 and 7 grand, and it can be risky. So,
now I got all that. What's a hypnotic gastric band?
Well, what it is that it's 4 sessions. So 3 sessions are about nutritional advice and changing people's relationship with the way they eat, because.
I want to know about the 4th session then.
Also, yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah. You're teasing me, you do realize that.
I know.
Okay, I get back at people.
Fair enough. And also it's dealing with psychological issues like comfort eating and stuff like that. The 4th is all about talking through the actual operation with the sounds of the operation there as well. Now,
why are we doing this?
Well, this is
Are you persuading them they got a band when they don't?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were talking about. I was just waiting for you to tell me, but I had to tell you.
Yeah.
So hypnotic gastric band. But I mean, I got news for you. If you put all that waffle in front of what you're doing now, there's no wonder you're not selling as much as you could.
Right.
Do you know how much space you have in Google AdWords?
How much space?
A lot less than all the words you just used to describe a hypnotic gastric band. Though the good news is a hypnotic gastric band does more or less say what it does on the tin.
Yeah.
Get the benefits of a gastric band without the gastric band.
Yeah.
There's more or less your shtick in it.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah.
How do I know?
Well...
How can you persuade me? How could you persuade me that it works? What's the most effective thing you can do?
Well, you see, this is my problem, because if my clients could talk to you, they'd tell you they're losing between £6 and £7 a week.
And why can't they talk to me?
Because it's unethical.
Excuse me?
Because
then you better go tell all those damn weight loss clubs that do before and after ads that they're unethical. What is the ethics issue?
Well, the General Hypnotherapy Council, the register which I'm on, actually doesn't allow you to use testimonials.
It doesn't?
No.
Huh.
So this
sort of sucks, doesn't it?
It does.
Do you know what my #1 marketing advice is?
Use testimonials. Yeah. I know.
You can't use testimonials for hypnotherapy?
No.
That's what
maybe I should anyway, but...
Well, I don't know. What happens if you do, besides getting more business? Do they strike you off the register? That would suck.
Yes. I think...
or would they just not like you?
They probably frown at me heavily.
Can you handle the hostility of frowns? Let's try.
I'm sure I could.
You're doing pretty well. Everyone frown at him. Yeah, you're doing fine. Well, half of them are still laughing, but I think they were frowning inside. It is an interesting question, though, isn't it? I mean, I'm not actually going to advocate in front of a running camera that you ignore the registry that defines your professional obligations. I would never do such a thing. However much I might want to think, well, now hang on, there is something somewhat silly in this conversation, because I presume that it's a broad statement across all hypnotherapy, because hypnotherapy is a form of therapy, and therapy is not something to be going out promoting per se, except that it is, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with saying this is somebody who's accomplished something, they are now have lost all this weight. Well, let's do a straw man poll. Who here thinks it is unethical? Ignore what the registry says, just as a practical matter. Would your first response be if you saw somebody saying, I lost 4 stone across 30 weeks or whatever it is, using this process, would you view it as an unethical activity or not? If you think it's unethical, raise your hand. If you think it's fine, raise your hand. Okay, so that's the general public's view of the question.
Yes.
Right, and I only ask that because I just want to make sure. Sometimes my views are not the world's. I have found that the hard way. Not everybody laughs at death, right? So, whatever.
But I think in the States there would be a different perception because...
There may very well be, but I'm not in the States, and they all speak like you do.
But really my point was that in the States a lot of people are in therapy, so there's no disgrace attached to that.
Well, of course, it's like getting a car. You get a car, you get therapy, it's all part of the package. But
Yeah. Over here it's still...
Well, here you just don't admit to it. Everyone's still in therapy. But you guys aren't, I know. But that may be the case, but there's therapy and there's therapy. There's therapy that is directed at public conditions that people are not emotional about. Weight loss has been something that has been socialized as an activity. That's why weight loss programs go out and advertise really quite ferociously, whether they're effective or ineffective. You are not a therapist per se at that point. You're a weight loss program that uses therapy as a tool to achieve weight loss.
Correct.
Right. And thus, the differentiation that I would draw is I would stop being a hypnotherapist and start being a weight loss program in that context. Why aren't you a weight loss program? If I type in weight loss program, where are you located? Here in Ipswich?
Well, I'm in Catherwaite, so I'm sort of between
your catchment area is
Suffolk and Essex, yeah.
Okay. So if I type in weight loss program Southern Essex or whatever, are you going to pop up?
Should do.
All right. As weight loss program?
Should do.
What's the name of your site?
edgehypno.com.
I'm sorry, what is the name of your site?
edgehypno.com. EDG.
So it doesn't talk anything about the problems you solve, it talks about the tools you use.
Yeah.
It's like a mechanic putting wearewrenches.com.
Yeah, I understand. I'm well aware of that problem.
But actually, that's where I'm cycling towards, because I'm just wondering, I mean, I'd be the first to agree with you that there are certain things you do that are going to be very, very difficult to get people to say, oh my God, he dealt with my huge child abuse problems, I recommend it to everyone.
Sure.
Right? It ain't going to happen.
No.
Nor should it.
One
weight loss? If you had 10 times the current weight loss customers you have now, would that improve your mood?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you one of the things I do. I use Gumtree and Viver Street and one or two things like Yola sites, sort of free websites to sort of just do specialist things like weight loss, hypnotherapy.co.uk or whatever, so that people will then point back.
Is that your site or is that somebody else's?
That's mine.
So you have your own site, Weight Loss Hypnotherapy?
Well, I have various ones, sort of lose weight in Colchester.
Where I hear it's more effective there.
And that's
no, that's actually a very good thing to do.
So they all point back to the main site. But
that's fine. I actually think that that's fine, but actually I would go further than the affiliate relationship between the sites. I would assert that if you've got a product or a service that is essentially a managed weight loss program, which it is, because you have more than one session, you have other things going on, and I would actually go further. There are other people who are involved in the process of weight loss that support an activity. If you get a gastric band, you don't just get the gastric band. You get nutritional counseling, you usually have a dietitian assigned to you, you go on a restricted diet, at least if it's done in a proper and ethical fashion, you do, right?
We don't do diets.
You do a hypnotic